give a huge round of applause and welcome Mr. Srinivasan and Anil Wanvari on the dais.
You guys have been patient. Let's give a round of applause to the audience over here. You guys have been very, very patient. Thank you. Well, I'm sitting next to a giant of a man in terms of what he has achieved from being a print publisher to going towards expanding into content creation on digital as well as primarily first television. Tell us a little bit about your journey. I know you sent me a WhatsApp message, but it's good to hear you talk about it.
Yeah, hi. Hello. Working? Yeah. Sorry, I guess this is the one session that keeps you before lunch, so I'll try to make it as quick as possible. Thank you.
I don't. Do you all want to listen to talk a lot, or you want it to be quick because you don't get a chance to listen to too often, right?
Yeah.
So please, feel free.
So I think it's been about 29 years since I joined Vikatan. I joined in 90, just after college, and after my graduation. So it's for me in 92, 93, the Gulf War. The satellite televisions, the satellite dishes started popping up all over Tamil Nadu. And when Sun TV decided to launch their channel, all of us in Vikatan, we had a good laugh. And we said, what nonsense is this? How is this ever going to catch up? What kind of fad is this that they're trying to capitalize on? And then, we never stopped, hitting ourselves on our head after that. And it took us about 5 years to gain the courage that we lost in 93. And I decided I will just put my foot on the door. If I can't start a satellite channel, at least let me start producing. Because we were having our own fiction. Fiction was the bread and butter of Ananda Vikatan. And fiction has always, we have had the best creatives, creators working for us. So we thought it was a natural extension for us to get into production. And we did that in 98. We started off with a weekly soap, weekly serial that was called Akshaya. And what we tried to do the first time is we carried half of the episode in the magazine on a Thursday when Vikatan came out on a Thursday. And that evening it would come on Sun TV. It would carry the first half that we carried in the magazine, and it would carry another part of the story, which they could only see on TV. And then that would lead to the next week where we would be, prompting viewers to or readers to go and watch our serial on television. So that's how Akshaya started. About 3 years down the line, 2001, we started our first daily soap. That was Alaigal. It was a very short one, and then came, we had a disaster, and after that we learned what not to do, and then came Kolangal, and then from Kolangal, in these last about 15 years, I would say Kolangal was the #1 daily soap in Tamil Nadu. It was replaced by Tirumadi Selvam, which we produced. It was an afternoon program, and then it was brought down to prime time, and then it replaced Kolangal as the #1 program. And after that, we went on to produce Deva Magal, and then now we're producing Naigi, and we've just saw Run that's come on air since yesterday. So we've had a pretty interesting journey. We consistently work with some of the best talents in the industry. A daily soap is not easy to come by, to give out to produce a cassette at the end of every day. And since the last 3 years, it's become 6 days a week. So 26 episodes a month is not a joke to actually produce, and to try and give it the best possible quality that we can afford to bring it out in. The costs have obviously been going up, and we've been trying to make some sense out of that. But it's also, there's been an opening up of revenue streams. Since 2011, we were on YouTube, and actually we got onto YouTube by, it was again a sheer coincidence. We had this, how many of you have heard of Tech Satish?
Tech Satish.
Tech Satish, yeah. Very few of you I can see. But Tech Satish was a blogger in those days, and he was carrying all our programs. Every time, even at the first break, at the end of first break, he would carry it in the first break. And the kind of interactions that were happening on Tech Satish were awesome. So he said, what the hell is happening? I mean, our program, our copyright, somebody else is using it and so much of interaction is happening. So 2011 October, we got onto the YouTube platform. Today, I'm happy to say across fiction and non-fiction, we have close to about 10 million subscribers across all our YouTube platforms. We have about 150 million views we clocked last month, and about close to 1 billion minutes viewed last month. So, and hopefully that's been growing. So that's how, basically, uh, my television journey has been the start of our content journey, I would say. And I guess we've now got into a place where we believe we can produce content beyond television. We are in talks with a couple of OTT players. We are getting their Bibles ready. We are trying to understand how OTT works. OTT doesn't work like television at all. So we are unlearning and we are relearning. We are trying to what we would otherwise plan on a daily soap as a 1,000 episoder. We now have to plan as an 8 episoder or a 12 episoder. So we are trying to rethink our storylines and the way we produce. And obviously, the quality of production that is required for OTT is very high. So that's the interesting work that's happening.
Really fascinating listening to you talk about your journey now. You know, most producers, especially in the West and in apart from Doordarshan and Sun TV, most producers operate in a commission model. You chose to go for an what we call an airtime barter model. Why? Why did you choose to do that rather than get commissioned and?
Yeah, so I'll be very candid. I can tell you that it was a calculated decision. It wasn't. In '98, Sun was the dominant player in the television market, and Sun had the airtime concession model. They did not have commissioning model at that point of time. And I'm very happy that they did not have commissioning model, because the airtime concession model gave us one of the biggest advantages that I can guarantee I don't think any producer in the country has today, which is creative independence. I'm sure Naga sir will vouch for it. He has worked with Min Bangal when, he has worked on with Sun TV and with other platforms. And I think creative independence is something that our creators cherish a lot, without, offense. Frankly, when you're working with the channel and if you're working as a commission model, there is a lot of strings attached to creativity. And I think I don't blame anybody. It's just the model. So I think there is a different way in which this whole thing pans out. But I think we've been blessed that we got into this model and we've been able to bloom the creativity, not only us as producers, but also the ecosystem, our directors, our story writers, our screenplay dialogue writers, our cinematographers, our editors, all of them have that creative expression. And we believe till today, our product does not get questioned by the channel. And that is probably the one reason why we have been able to deliver a string of successes.
Great. Who else do you respect as a producer in this Tamil market? Who else as a producer?
As a
Or
producer,
at a similar scale as you are?
well, there are so many of my fellow producers. You take Radhika or Adan, Min Bimbangal at their prime is something that I would yearn to be. I don't think I have got to the level of Balakailasam sir. The kind of dreams that he had, the kind of the projects that he ventured into. It is something that I would say, it's everybody's dream to have been where he was. But there's Radhika, there is Vision Time Rammurthy. He has been around for longer than we have in the production field. And there is Tirumurugan. He's a director. He was the director that we introduced on Sun TV. So the first Akshaya was directed by him.
No, I'm talking about production side.
No, but he went on to become his own producer.
Okay.
So he's a producer come director. So there are a lot of production houses which are doing an awesome job. And
what sets you apart? I'm going to ask you questions which you'll have to think about before answering.
Okay, so I'll be very candid. We don't get stuck to artists. We believe that our technicians are far more, I mean, please, without offense to anybody, and please don't go outside this room and tell, talk about, we love our artists, but we believe an artist has to be decided by the project. The project needs to seek the artist and not the other way around. So we believe in creating, so we would never go to Sun TV and ask for a slot if I did not have a story in my hand. So I need to have a story. For that, there needs to be a creative thought process. And my better half, Radhika, she's the one who curates our stories. And we need to have a story, and then we need to put that team together who we believe is the ideal fit to take that story into its creative arc. And then we put in, after the director comes into the play, that's when casting comes into play. So we don't carry, typically, if you see Kolangal, Tirumati Selvam, Devamagal, Nayagi, literally none of our lead cast would have been repeated. We don't repeat our lead cast. So I don't know if that sets us apart, but I think we believe that if the story has the value that it deserves, then we will be able to make the cut.
I understand. What also is something that you do is you do the airtime sales yourself. So, there's been a talk since morning that Tamil television is under indexed compared to the share of viewing it gets, or it commands nationally. Is that true as far as you're concerned? Because when I was speaking to you, you said you're spending an X amount of money for a show. I won't reveal it until you want to reveal it. And you're making profits on that, despite spending more than anyone else is spending on a fiction show in Tamil Nadu.
Yeah. So we have not been doing, small correction there, we have not been doing airtime sales ourselves all the time. Since 2003 to 2012 or 13, we used to have UTV, we used to have Pearl Media, we used to have different, agencies who were selling airtime on our behalf. And since 2013, however, in the last 6 years, we've been doing it ourselves. The market is rough. There's no doubt about it. But I think we've been having some amazing relationships with our advertising clients as well as our agencies. And they know us from the print days, and they know that we've been servicing them for these last 20 years. And they know that if we talk about a product and we believe that a product will deliver, that it is likely to deliver. And if it doesn't deliver, they know they can always come back to us, and we will be able to help them mitigate if they have losses, right? So I think there is a trust that we have been able to build in the market. And I'm not going to say that I'm confident about making my money all the time. There have been enough instances where we have lost money, even with a top-notch product, because of the market dynamics, we have not always been able to make money. But we've been able to supplement our presence through YouTube and the fact that we have rights. And many of my programs, for example, Tirumati Selvam, we produced it in 4 southern languages, right? So, and we were able to sell the rights to Hindi. And in Hindi, Tirumati Selvam as Pavitra Rishta went on to actually create history for both Ekta as well as for ZTV. So I think it changed the entire landscape. So a product has a capacity to go that far. Probably we haven't exploited it all the time across all our products, but I believe that there is much more in a product than just the airtime sales for that episode.
Yeah, but do you think it's under-indexed in your case when you're selling now? Or do you get better prices than the broadcasters get themselves?
Okay.
Do you get better rates, more than prices, better rates?
I think it's a tango. We need to tango necessarily with the broadcaster, because end of the day, I cannot sell at a price that will drive my client towards the broadcaster. At the same time, I think neither of us want to short sell when the program is performing well. It is the market dynamics which often decide most of these aspects. And I think from that point of view, we've been working with Sun TV for 20 years, and we have our fights, we have a love-hate relationship, and it's probably like any marriage. At 20 years, either we mature or we go in for a divorce. I think we are quite mature. We've had our tips, but we are quite mature about handling it.
Would you also be open to being commissioned by other broadcasters?
So I think commissioning puts certain questions. If I am commissioned, I need there to be a good margin. So I would rather get commissioned on the OTT space than on the television space, because the television space is a place where I believe our product can really make a lot of money with the IPs that we have. But on the OTT space, it's a completely different ball game. You know, the investment that is required into a single episode can run into, you know, today they say almost a crore. So, or even more than that. So that is something that we would not want to dabble with. That is something where we believe that we will be happy with our margin, and we will be very happy to, you know, deliver the IPs to the broadcaster, and we will be very happy to work, you know, on that model. But on television, it's ongoing. It's like 20, 26 episodes every month. So there is a lot more potential to recover from that. So I would not want to get into the commission mode as far as television is concerned.
At all.
I don't see the need for it as long as the tango with the channel is positive. If both of us are able to see value, and I firmly believe that I can do this only as long as I continue to deliver top-notch products. The moment I start delivering products which are subpar and are commoditizable, then I have lost the edge, and I don't think I will want to be selling airtime for a number 5 or number 6 product. I don't think that will work. As long as I'm selling airtime for a number 1, number 2
I'm
product.
talking about the commission side.
No, I will not get into commission
At all.
unless I have to. Unless this airtime sales model is going to stop working for me. It has been working for me for 20 years. So I don't see why it shouldn't work for me even moving forward.
No, I'm not saying it's not working. I'm saying expansion. I'm saying diversification.
My diversification is on OTT. I
Okay.
wouldn't want to diversify on television, because
Alright.
there is, end of the day, you cannot, I don't think I can imagine a day where I'm going to be producing 10 daily soaps. I don't think it's possible. I don't think we have we have groomed the kind of talent pool that ought to be groomed for that kind of, it is very unfortunate, and I have to say this, I mean, I don't even know if it makes sense to this, you know, in this particular forum, but unfortunately in India, every story writer wants to become a screenplay writer, a screenplay writer wants to become a director wants to go into films, and you know, whatever, and the film director wants to become a film producer. So there doesn't seem to be contentment in the job that you are doing. In the West, I have seen screenplay writers who have been screenplay writers for 25 years, and they focus on getting the best output ever. And they are able to command the kind of pay which normal screenplay writers cannot command. I believe that is the kind of future that we need to get into. Unless we're able to build that ecosystem, and unless we're able to groom enough screenplay writers, dialogue writers, and directors and cinematographers, I don't think we are capable of actually handling that kind of a load. Today, I was told, a particular channel executive told me, so when I was talking to this executive, I said, you know, the problem is that why we are not able to expand is because we probably have only about 4 screenplay writers and 3 directors that we can count on. So he turned around, he looked at me and he said, that's more than what we have. So I don't know how channels are managing, but I can clearly tell you that we cannot manage 10 daily soaps. So I don't see that as an expansion
I
potential.
understand. Have you told all the stories you want to tell so far? Or are there stories you haven't
Not at
told?
all. I think, but frankly, my better half is better positioned to answer that question. I am not the story guy here, but from whatever I have understood from her, I don't think we've even scratched the surface yet. I think Naga sir is right here. I probably shouldn't be talking out of turn, but I'm sure he would vouch for the fact that I don't think the stories that are meant to be told in the way it is meant to be told have been told yet. And I can give you a smallest example of that. We have been fortunate enough to be the first producer commissioned by YouTube to produce a digital first daily soap, and that's likely to come out, you know, in the next few months. And while we were discussing the story, so among, you know, so my wife is the creative head and she's working with the team. So the first question that came up was, if it is a digital first daily soap, then why should it be only digital first and why can't this be a TV product? Was the first differentiation that we wanted to understand. So the digital first daily soap, she has worked on it in such a way that among the characters, there are going to be digital avatars of those characters, and there is going to be digital interaction which will lead to the storytelling, which will then, though storytelling will lead to further digital interactions and social interactions, and that is how that whole story is going to be panned out. It's a 120 episoder, and it's going to come out on YouTube probably Monday through Friday at some nice prime time, and I'm hoping that it would reach those millions. And if we are able to actually pull it off, it would probably be the first of a start where daily soaps can be told exclusively on the YouTube or especially the YouTube platform. And hopefully we should get advertisers interested in it enough. So we are talking to a global agency, and we are hoping that they're going to come on board. And once they come on board, we believe that actually we will be able to get that entire machine churning. We might be able to do a 120 episoder, which will then give creators a break every 6 months to come back with seasons. That is something that's not possible on television today. You start a serial, you have to go ride the whole hog with it. You have to give it a couple of years, and then you've lost all the steam, and then you come out with a new product. With our digital first daily soap, we are hoping to come out with seasons. So we are able to actually keep the creativity intact. We keep only 120 episodes as a cap. And then if it really works well, we'll probably come back next year with season 2. So we are hoping that that should probably pave way for stories which have not been told before.
Yeah, one more question. I know Sana is telling me chop off my head, but hang in there. I know I'm delaying things. Anita is going to get late. She'll probably miss her flight, but I'm notorious. Just one more question. You were telling me earlier that you offer a 360-degree solution to brands, in a way. That's the last question. You don't have to come and sit on my head, please. Let him answer. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So on YouTube, I don't know how many of you are following, YouTube numbers. Actually, the catch-up content that we are delivering on YouTube, like for example, Nayagi on YouTube. Any guesses how many views are going in every night? 1.5 million to yesterday's episode was actually two episodes back, it went up to 2 million, right? So sometimes 2.5 million. If you look from a TV universe point of view, if you look from a TVR point of view, it is almost equivalent to 2 TVRs, right? That is the add-on delivery that we can give your clients who are advertising on TV channels. If you're advertising with Nayagi on Sun TV, then you can get 2 additional TVRs by advertising with us on YouTube. And on YouTube, we've now started giving brand integrations. So very recently, about a month back, we did a brand integration for VCare, hair dye. And we did that with one of our protagonist characters. And we cut a vignette for them. And then they've started using that vignette on television in Nayagi itself. So you get a brand connect with their product. And they are quite happy, and they are coming back for more. So we are getting more and more clients who are interested in advertising there. We can do brand integration on YouTube. And then we also give you a connection. We give you sticky links. We can give you, sponsorships. We can give you native content. We can give you the entire 360-degree connect. We're also into activation, so we can give you a lot of ground events too. So we are trying to, as far as Vikatan is concerned, in the last 2 years, we've been only attempting to solve advertiser problems. So we don't go to you asking you for FCT or for pages or for CPMs. We come to you asking you what your problem is and how is it that we can solve your problem from a Tamil Nadu perspective across all platforms through our communications.
I could just go on listening to you forever. There's so much of learning from you. Thank you for that. In terms of the audience which is watching you on digital, is it unduplicated compared to television, or you don't know?
It cannot be duplicated. Why would somebody want to watch Nayagi
Maybe because
on
they love
Sun
it.
TV?
They love
No. I only hope and pray that my content is so sticky that they will watch it on Sun TV and then come and watch it again on YouTube. I don't believe so. There are people, however, who come and comment on YouTube after watching it on Sun TV. but majority of the audience is actually watching it on YouTube for the first time. I can absolutely be certain about that. I don't think they will watch it again.
We could go on forever, but the lovely lady out there is going to smash my head to pulp if I don't move. Thank you. It's been wonderful chatting with you, Srini. Thank you
Thanks
very
for having
much.
me, and thank you for being so
A
patient.
big round of applause for him. Thank you.
That was quite a session, and I would request Mr. Wanvari to felicitate Mr. Srinivasan now. Thank you, Mr. Srinivasan. And I request Mr. Wanvari to stay back on the stage and felicitate India's largest DTH company, who also happens to be one of the biggest advertisers in Tamil television, that is Dish TV. So I would like to call upon Mr. Gajendra Kumar, Marketing Lead of Tamil Nadu and Kerala Dish TV Limited, and Mr. Ankush, Product Head of Dish TV, to come onto the dais. So let's give a huge round of applause for that, please.